Welcome back to the channel. Doing something a little different today. I'm bringing you guys along to work with me today. Just the first job, we're going to do a bedside and spot and re-clear a roof on a Ford F-250. Here we're using our color scanner to narrow down a good blendable match. Generally, I don't need the camera on white. And white paint is not just white paint. They all have colors and different amounts of toners in them. So I like to use the camera. It works really well on solid colors. And we find a good match. We transfer it over to the scale, and then we pour our own paint. This cup here is our white sealer. Sealer is basically a non-sanding primer. It gives you a uniform color and coverage, so you can use less base coat, and it's pretty simple. It mixes 3-1-1, and you don't sand this primer. If you need to nib it, if you get a little bit of dirt in it or something, you can, but generally it's a non-sanding primer. It's wet on wet. You put this on, once it flashes a few minutes, then you can base coat right over it. And it's basically, like I said, it gives you a uniform color underneath your base. And you try to get your sealer close to your base color. We got it tacked up. I'm talking in the film here, but the booth's so loud you can't hear me, so that's why I'm doing the voiceover. We're not sealing the entire bed. Portions of the bed were repaired. There's 2 primer spots. In a few places I sanded chips out. And we're going to seal those just for coverage and, like I said, less base coat. Generally with white, you can get away with about 2 coats of base. And if I've made extra paint, or if I've got extra paint, I tend to put a 3rd coat just to, if anything, make me feel a little better, a little reassurance that everything's covered good. So the sealer, we're just putting 1 coat. You can put more than 1 coat of sealer on if you let it flash between coats, if you feel like you need better coverage. But just keep in mind, you need to let it dry a little bit longer, because you got that much more material on there, and you may have a tendency to shrinkage the more material you get on this vehicle. You want to keep it as thin as possible. And again, we're just using this for coverage, just to eliminate using so much base coat. And we do more roofs here than I've ever done in my life. And this one here, luckily, we're just doing a spot in the corner, but I still have to clear the whole roof. So it's going to be basically like painting the roof. Tack it off, spot in the primer spot, and then we'll run in the shop, clean our gun, and proceed with base coat. Alright, we've got our gun clean. We've loaded up our base coat gun. The time it took to do the switch over gave the sealer enough time to set up and flash. It is a non-sanding primer. Like I said, you just go in, you do let it dry long enough to tack. It's just called wet on wet because you're not really sanding it. You're just putting base right over top of it. And we proceeded to get our base coat on. And I skipped over all the coats of base. We basically put 2.5 coats on. And now we're going straight into clear. I'm using the Lessenol Universal Clear. Unfortunately, the only thing I've got for activator today is fast, so there was no flash time between these coats of clear. Basically, by the time the overspray clears out, we're ready to shoot the 2nd coat on. So here goes the 1st coat. All right, here comes the second coat. We're time-lapsing that. Same procedure as the first, but we are just tightening up our overlap a little bit and slowing our pace down just a little bit to get it slicked out. And here's our end result. This is just before bake. It has a little bit of factory peel. It's not glass slick. That could be easily achieved, just a little color sanding and buffing. But we're just shooting for a factory finish here. The roof, we just had to put color on the right rear corner, and we re-cleared the entire panel. I don't like burning in clear if I don't have to, and it makes it a lot more durable and a better job. We're done baking. Let it sit for a little while. We're ready to install the bed cap, decals, and any other parts that we removed for paint, and it's ready to go home. Thanks for watching.